Hey guys, just a note here on Ibogaine before we do the interview. Ibogaine is a psychoactive drug that induces hallucinogenic effects like those associated with the use of LSD or mushrooms. While the drugs can lead to some short-term side effects, including anxiety and experiencing hallucinations, it has been touted as a wonderful antidote to heroin addiction, to all addiction, but especially to heroin or opioid addiction. Um, it's how does Ibogaine work? Well, the addiction model of disease describes the condition as chronic due to long-term changes in the reward centers of the brain. When a person takes Ibogaine, the drug is converted into a compound called noribogaine, which targets the areas of the brain affected by the drug seeking and addictive behaviors. Noribogaine rewires these areas, and I've been saying that for a long time. We need rewiring, allowing the brain to restructure itself in a state similar to before the addiction was triggered. Now, while Ibogaine can for many ease withdrawal and prevent cravings, the process is more like detox than ending an addiction. There are still the steps to be taken after a person no longer physically needs or seeks out substance abuse. Now, this is a very interesting part. Success rates. Medical professionals who have used Ibogaine to treat people recovering from drug addiction report 50 to 80% success rate. Now look, that's huge. Man, we don't even have that in the best of our addiction centres. We get a 1 out of 10, and that's an optimistic kind of a report. Here's someone saying, we got something that can help here, that more than half the people that take this stay off the drug. Their mind gets rewired. Some go back. I mean, you've always got choice. But if you want to break that compulsive, obsessive, addictive behaviour, Ibogaine seems to be the way forward. I'm going to introduce now Sharon, who's come to tell us her story on Ibogaine. Sharon, welcome to Cold Turkey.
Thanks very much, Paul, for having me.
No, and thank you for coming. I'm delighted to have you here. So Sharon, tell us about, before you go into your Iboga treatment experience, tell us about your addiction briefly, Sharon.
Well, I've been on drugs a very, very long time. The drugs I've used everything, but towards the end, I was using anything and everything. I had a very, very huge habit.
Yeah.
And it left me very, very sick. To the point where I had blood clots and blood clots in my legs.
You were using intravenously?
Intravenous, I was banging crack and heroin together.
And heroin.
Yeah.
And so, have you tried therapies before?
I've been in and out treatment since I'm 17.
Yeah.
My first treatment centre when I was 17, and I treated as a holiday camp. With a break and the bags of smokes and all my bits and pieces. See you now. And that has been my experience, and I've been in and out of NA for over 20 years, and I just kind of thought I was one of these people that's just not going to work for me.
Right. I identify with that, absolutely, Sharon. Can you tell me, where did you first hear about Iboga?
See, I heard about Iboga while I was in my addiction.
Right.
I went down, I did this thing called Cambo, and
that's the frog.
That's the frog
yes,
thing, So I was going for a vaccination.
Right.
So I went down, I did that, and I didn't like it, but I know the properties of it is absolutely amazing.
Right.
Because afterwards I did feel good after, and I suppose it kept me well for a little bit longer than I should have been well for.
Right.
So I did that, but I kept on hearing about Iboga. It kept on coming into my consciousness.
Okay.
And I just kind of knew I was going to get clean in December. I didn't know how I was getting clean, where I was getting clean. I just knew it was going to happen. And then Paul came to me and he said, do you want to do this thing called Iboga?
Well, just on that, that's the power of positive thinking. You were determined, I'm going to get clean, and you put that out into the universe.
I just knew, it was a known. It was just a deep known. I knew it was going to happen. So,
Sharon, in your own words, please tell us, down to hear it. So you contacted somebody with the Iboga?
I didn't, because I was in a world of my own.
Paul did, rather,
Paul did. He made all the arrangements. I just kind of turned up.
Okay, Paul's your partner, and we're going to speak to
yeah.
Paul after we have a chat with yourself. But please then tell us. So you went down.
I went down to we were going down to the house, and it was crazy. I remember driving, and going, I've been here before. I just got that feeling of I was here before. Went into the house, and everything was just so familiar. So obviously I probably was dreaming about it, I don't know, but everything just felt right. Mm-hmm.
The vibe was right.
It was 100%. I just knew something was right for me, and course, I was using on the way down, and because the girl told me.
That's what we do.
Well, no, I was told to use.
Oh yes.
Oh
Yes.
yeah, I was told to use.
Okay. Yeah.
Because I was on 90 mils of methadone, and
Right.
I was banging a serious amount of drugs into me and a serious amount of tablets. And she told me to come off the methadone, and I was like, she was like, no, I advise you to use. I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
So that's like a
So
license.
she was basically saying, stop using the chemicals like the methadone. Just take heroin.
Just take
so
heroin,
that you
but-
wouldn't be sick. And
Yeah, but obviously, like, I did. I put the methadone down, but I didn't put anything else down.
Yeah,
you know?
of course.
Because, you know, just the way our heads work.
For the treatment, that was.
For the treatment, yeah.
Yeah.
And I suppose to get the full effect, it would have been amazing if I was just on heroin, you know,
right.
and I wasn't as physically sick. It would have been amazing.
So you came off benzos, heroin, methadone.
I came off crack, methadone, heroin, lyrica, tramadol, and benzos.
Wow, what a load.
A cocktail.
So tell us then, start from the evening. You got there in the evening,
We
was
got
it?
down in the evening time,
Right.
and they have to do like check your body to
Yes.
see if you're healthy enough to do this. And my
Right.
legs were like baby elephants, and I was like, oh shit.
Do you mean swollen?
Very, very swollen because
from
of
the
all the
injection?
clots.
Okay.
And she was trying to get a pulse on my legs, and I was like, I kept banging, pressing the thing harder and harder to my legs to make sure she'd get a pulse. When she got the pulse, I was like, right, that I'm after getting over that, because I was afraid she got, throwing me away
Yes.
because I was so sick.
Well, I'm glad to hear they do a little bit of a medical. And
Oh
that
yeah, they have, because
check-in.
it's very powerful medicine, you know.
Yes.
Because this thing, it doesn't just treat addiction; it treats depression, it treats a whole host of stuff.
It's
you
a
know,
complete holistic.
It's
thing,
amazing.
Isn't it?
It's amazing stuff, and it's natural.
Okay.
You know, and that's the best thing about it. It grows from the earth.
I know. This is what I love about the natural plant medicines, because you can get a similar effect from LSD, but it's a chemical.
100%, yeah.
So, sorry, back to the situation.
And
yeah.
which is because it's a root plant, we actually got into the basement of the house, which I can't always, just all little symbols.
Symbols.
I remember I was going, look, just show me a sign that this is going to work for me. And I remember this is in December,
Right.
and I looked over in the corner and there was a butterfly in the corner, and that for me was all I needed to see.
And that's all you need, yeah,
You
because
know.
that had the relevance to you,
Yeah,
and that was enough.
it was change.
Yeah.
So it from a caterpillar turned into a butterfly.
Right.
So that's all I need to say, and I was like, I'm right. So I just trust the process.
And what was the process?
Right, the process is like, you have to drink this gank. It's so hard to drink. It's really difficult to drink.
Like the ayahuasca, that's very
But no,
different.
this is gritty,
Yeah.
and it's like,
Okay.
it's like you're actually, it feels like you're drinking muck, and it tastes putrid.
Yes.
But you know what? I drank it because this was going to make me better.
And
So through so it takes about 20 minutes or 30 minutes or so for the stuff to start working on it.
yes.
And I used to always say for years, I'd love something to wash my brain out.
Yeah.
And I got something.
It's like a
You know,
powerhouse, isn't
It's
it?
meant, like all the stuff that I wish for
Yeah.
has now, it's all starting to come, it's full circle for me, And
That's fantastic.
I just believe in the process. But this stuff, after 3 hours, you're clean.
Right.
Because it washes all the receptors out of your brain.
Amazing. And so tell me, you took this stuff, so say a few hours into it, did you get sleep there, or
Right,
could
so
you sleep?
you
or?
go into, like I said, it's a meditative state. So
Yes.
it's an inner journey. So it's very personal, and what I experience, someone else won't experience, because
Right.
it's whatever way that I'm able to process what I'm seeing and what I'm
Absolutely.
hearing.
So it's it will deal with each consciousness different.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's what, recovery. What I notice is like one size fits all. You're gonna go through and blah blah blah, and it doesn't work for everybody. Because I know it didn't work for me. Because I've been trying this for so many years, and that was the shame I used to carry on. Why isn't it working for me?
Excuse me.
And that's probably why I used to be so embarrassed going in now meetings, because I'm looking at all these people that I would have started the journey with,
Yes.
and they're flying along, and I'm still bleeding day one.
And tell me, Sharon. So that was in December.
That was in December.
You
Yeah.
went down there for a few days, was it?
We went down there for 4 days, and
Okay.
it was just it was an experience I'm so grateful I had.
Yes. Yeah.
Because what has happened to me, I would have never been able to get that
Yes.
through the normal process.
Right.
Because I've tried the normal process for so many years, and for this I'd love to be able to gift this and give it away.
I hear you.
And I do think people need
Well, you're
to
doing
know.
that right now by sharing your story with us.
Yeah, and I think we need to get out of our heads that this is mind altering and
Yes.
stuff, because like it's medicine.
There's something very interesting that Sharon just said. She says we need to get out of our heads. The reason a lot of us took drugs is because we were locked in our heads. So we got out of our heads with drugs. And when we put the drugs down, the head comes back. And that's what she's talking about. So for addicts who got out of their heads on drugs, when they stop taking drugs, they got to find a way of getting out of their heads without the drugs. And this visionary plant medicine is something that will help you do that. And it's not something you need to take loads of times. You take it once, and then you can take a maintenance dose.
You can take microdosing. Now the real process is like you go down, take it that night. Following day you get Cambu.
Yeah.
So that heightens your withdrawals.
Right.
And it really brings them like full on. And then that night again you take a second dose of Iboga.
Yeah.
But I was physically that sick I couldn't stomach it anymore.
Right.
But for, the other chap who done it with me, and another guy went down to get off heroin, and the difference between him and me, he was just coming off heroin. He was bouncing around the next day.
Yeah.
And I was stuck to the floor.
That's an incredible testament to the power of Iboga.
Yeah.
That if a person is just on heroin, the very next day he was grand.
It was amazing.
You had a multitude of addictions to tackle.
I was physically ill. So that was, I had an infection in my heart. I had blood clots. I was just.
Did it help all those things?
Oh, the next morning I looked at my legs and I went, oh my God, they were like back to a normal size.
Wow, that is unreal, isn't it?
It's mind blown.
It just shows you how everything is psychosomatic with illness and all.
Yeah,
it's incredible.
I just feel like every cell in my body's after getting changed.
Oh, no doubt.
Because I have no desire whatsoever to use.
That's powerful.
Which is amazing because I've always wanted.
Are you listening, HSE?
You can't make money off our
There's
backs
the solution. what would you rather, that one night of Iboga or a few days of Iboga, or give the girl 20 years on methadone? Weigh it up.
And that has been it's a sentence really.
It is a sentence.
Because I remember when I was a kid, I was 15 when I first went on methadone. I was too young to actually get it to me.
Do you mind me asking how old you are now?
I'm 41, I'm going 42.
Wow,
so it's a lifetime of drugs.
Sharon, you would never know you even took drugs talking to me today.
See, I'm the type of addict. I always remember years ago I was with this chap and we were speaking about our drug use and how we used. And I remember looking at him going, he doesn't believe me that I use it. And this is actually how powerful the mind is. I made a decision, unknown to myself, I was going to show him how I used.
Wow.
And by Jesus, did I?
Well, I know you a number of years, Sharon, and I know you're speaking facts. I can't get over the woman that's sitting beside me here today, doing this interview, the same girl that I would see years ago coming into meetings, and that we were both struggling really hard and trying. And you being a hairdresser as well, I always had that kind of connected a few hairdressers that are in we always had that kind of,
Yeah, we made the band, but our band was always on a different level. We'd always talk, we'd have the hairdressing connection, but we'd always speak.
That's why we never talked about hairdressing, it was just the connect from it.
Yeah, it's mad.
But listen, that's a wonderful story, it's a great story, and there's a lot of hope in it. But just tell me, it's been 9 months now?
9 weeks.
9 weeks, sorry, 9 weeks, yeah. God, we're only in February,
I wouldn't mind if it was 9 months.
It's 9 weeks. How are you getting on? How has life been since?
Do you know what? I was only saying to Paul last night, I have a contentment I've never had before.
Yeah, and you can see it in you. You're glowing,
it's like,
girl.
And it's like there's a contentment in my home, whereas there was always an unrest even when I was clean before. And you used to say to me, how long is this going to last for this time? I'm not getting that now, which is kind of a bit mental.
It is indeed, but
because people can see the change in me.
Absolutely, and it's a change some people are afraid of, like family, and that might turn around and think,
well, I have a sister who will talk to me when I'm in addiction, and now that I'm out of addiction, she can't bear to be around me.
I've lost friends since I got clean, but that's okay.
And that's alright. Look, who's meant to be in my life will be in my life.
Absolutely.
And I'm alright with that. But today I don't need people, I choose to have people, which is like,
that's
that actually blows my mind.
Yes.
Because I needed people just to fill that gap. If I wasn't using drugs, I was using people. And that's just, I've always used something.
Wow.
Whereas now it's like, well, I'm sitting in the house, that's alright. And I actually like my own company.
That's the thing, isn't it? To learn to like your own company and to learn to accept yourself.
And but even today, I'm still processing the stuff that I seen when I was doing the Vogue. I'm still getting little images. I'm like, So it still takes a little
it's an ongoing process.
100%. And I was planning on going down to do it again for a different reason. I'm going down now to do deep healing.
Deep healing for childhood issues and
childhood traumas.
Wow. Yeah. Sharon, listen, you're looking beautiful, radiant, and I'm wishing you the very best. Thank you so much for coming on the platform.
It was a pleasure having you.
Thank you so much. We're going to have a quick word with Paul, just to get
Speak
the scope.
Nice.
Yes. You just can swap seats
No
there for a
problem.
minute. Thank you so much, Sharon. Now this is Paul. Hey Paul.
How are you, Paul?
This is Sharon's partner, and Paul, I wanted to have a quick word with you because as a concerned partner, how was it for you? How was it for you? Yeah.
Well, being in recovery myself, Paul, for a number of years, I have a lot of awareness around addiction.
Yeah.
So that, and apart from that, it's tough, especially when it's someone you love.
Yes.
When you're at the building everything that you want in the relationship, and like you have a family there and everything's going great, and you're working and she's working and everything's going great, and then all of a sudden out of the blue then you start noticing something's not right, and starts causing anxiety and fear.
Mm-hmm.
And you can sort of see, you can see what the person in addiction can't see. You can see everything crumbling down around you, and it's not nice. It causes an awful lot of anxiety and stuff like that. And you start to try control stuff then.
Mm-hmm.
You start to try control, and you just make things worse, you know. And what happened with me, I had myself convinced, because I'm clean so long and I haven't used and she's using, that I'm doing great, you know. And then you kind of become comfortable in the shit.
Complacent even.
Yeah, maybe
Right.
a little bit complacent as well. And what happened was then after a while of that, brushing stuff under the carpet just to save arguments in the house and keep a little bit of peace, because you know everything that you have and that you wanted is crumbling down around you.
Right.
And it's not nice. And then all of a sudden you're getting these thoughts, well, Jesus, it'd be probably nice to get stoned and be cuddling on the sofa there, do you know what I mean?
Right.
And even thinking about it, then you're getting that fucking comfort,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And I was just blessed really that I had a little bit of recovery under my belt, and had a little bit of awareness around addiction, that I said to myself, I need to do something here before I use. And then I realised, I'm not going to fix her trying to control this. I need to leave her to it.
Yes.
And let her be brought to a place where she's ready herself. So that's what I done. I had to leave the house for a while, and
On the abode, or you were the one that checked it out for Sharon, was it?
yeah. What happened was,
Yeah.
I'd left Sharon for a while and I'd moved back to my own place, and I was just checking in with her from time to time, and fucking, you know, addicts have a busy schedule. You text
Sure.
them and you won't even get a text back for a week or 2 weeks
Yeah.
probably. Anyways, we were staying in touch, fucking, and I kind of knew when, I just kind of let her know, when you're ready, let me know and I'll try help you.
Right.
And but in the meantime I was checking places where she could go and
Yeah.
stuff like that, and we have nothing in this country. The
No,
waiting
sorry.
list, you'll be dead before your name comes up on the bloody waiting list, like.
Yeah.
And so I've friends that work in the services and that work in addiction centres and stuff like that, and I've been speaking to a lot of people, and it seemed like there was no hope, and I just happened, I firmly believe people are putting your path as well,
Yes, indeed. Yeah.
because a girl crossed my path that I knew from recovery from a long time ago, and I hadn't spoke to her, and she was crying out for help as well. And I had a chat with her on the phone that evening, and then I never heard from her for a couple of weeks, and then I just got a text off her. Oh, one of my friends is at the doing Ibogaine. He came off methadone, crack and heroin,
Yeah.
and he's clean and he's no obsession, and he's bouncing around the place eating and sleeping again already after a couple of weeks.
Wow.
And I says, well, where did he do it? And
Yeah.
she says, hang on a minute and I'll get the links and I'll send you them. And
Brilliant.
she sent me the links, and I actually rang the girl
Yes.
that runs the place, and in Waterford it was, and I kind of ran Sharon's story by her,
Right.
and she goes, yeah, perfect, this is perfect for her, you know.
Yes.
So then I got in contact with Sharon, and I met Sharon and we spoke about her, and Sharon rang her herself and spoke to her, And like Sharon explained, the woman says it's easier to come off the heroin just than the methadone.
Sure.
So we agreed that she was going to stop taking her methadone and she was going to use for the next few days.
She had the license to use.
That was Sharon's license to use. I've never seen anyone so happy.
I know. I can relate.
So, yeah, I was back in the middle of the madness again, dragging her around, fucking giving her lifts and fucking
doctor's orders.
But so yeah, I've kind of seen the other side of it as well. I've been in addiction for many years, then I've seen the other side of it through this. And when it's someone you love, it's fucking very, very
it's
hard.
Fucking heartbreaking,
it's
bro.
very hard. And you know, you've all people telling you all different things.
But you know what, Paulie? This is a great story. Sharon's story is a great story. What's it like for you since she's got clean? Like, were you trusting in the process the first few days after?
No,
because that's normal.
Because my insight into addiction, you know, probably didn't help again. Because I knew, and I've seen it over the years from being in recovery, people getting 4 and 5 days clean and being still obsessed and running off and using. And even dying. Do you know what I mean? Into the bargain. But
well, she says this obsession was the thing that was broken for her.
Yeah.
And of course, you don't get to see that until you see time passing. You know, and then when did you start to see, wow, this is working?
I kind of seen it straight away because she was really, really sick. When we got her back from there, she was still really sick. And she still had the clots and she was on antibiotics and stuff like that. And
but her mind was good, no?
But her mind, she was telling me that she didn't want to use. As sick as she was telling me she didn't want to use. And I found this very strange.
Yep.
Because I took people to me home many a times over the years and I detoxed them and that.
I know.
And that obsession, even being a wee clean and all, that obsession was always still there in them, you know. Right. And so I found this very strange. And deep down I probably still had that fear in me as well. Will she, won't she? Is she going to stay clean? Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
And even when she'd leave to go out to the shops in the morning, I was getting that fucking anxiety again, thinking she's gone to use. Yeah, she's gone. She's gone again, you know. And
what point did you say, wow, this fucking stuff has worked? Like, where did you get that? Wow, where did you get these?
I got that. I got that a few times. I got that a few times, but the fear will always come back again anyway, you know.
Of course, yeah.
But it's probably only over the last week that I had to decide, look, she's doing great, I need to leave her alone and give her a bit of space.
Yeah, I understand that.
And when I made that decision then, I felt a little bit at ease again then as well. You know, and things like she just spoke about a minute ago, things are great at home. The peace in the house.
Lovely.
Just sitting there watching movies and being content and stuff, do you know what I mean?
Well, yeah.
And you can see it in the kids even, the kids are happy and the kids are content.
And that's great.
And Sharon's daughter going around singing and, you know.
Listen, you guys are a great couple.
It's the ripple effect.
And you've got great support there, Sharon, with Paul. I know Paul's helped a lot of people over the years. And you've even worked in treatment centres, Paul. Yeah. That's where we met first.
Yeah, that's right.
We were all smoking weed out the back and Paul was working in the place. Do you remember that? Long story, but they never worked for me, treatment centres. But I know you've done a lot of good in the recovery community, Paul. And hey, it's some step now that you are a staunch kind of recovery guy. You've seen that this, even though it's a mind-altering chemical in this plant naturally, that a lot of people in recovery would be against it. But you've seen the power and how it worked. Yeah.
Well, the way it is with me, Paul, I don't care what anybody does to get clean. Yeah. Different stuff works for different people, and whatever works, if it's keeping them clean and giving them their families back and their lives back and like that, well and good. So I don't knock anything, and it's not my business what anybody wants to do. It's what works for me, and Narcotics Anonymous has worked for me for nearly 11 years at this stage.
Absolutely, Paul. And I would
I just keep doing what I do.
I would never knock any of the programs. Yeah. They're great, but just the type of addict I am, I'm the impatience. I need it now. I need a fix now that I can work on to move forward. Yeah. But listen, you guys, I got to thank you very much. I know time's running a little short for all of us here this afternoon, but I want to thank you very much for coming down and doing this interview. Well, this is a powerful story, man. And I hope you guys don't mind we do updates. I'm sure people want to know how you're getting on and everything. Yeah, brilliant, Jack. Thank you so much. And if anybody wants to know about Ibogaine, you have to remember it is illegal technically in this country because all psychoactive substances are banned by the government and have been since the head shops were were made illegal there some years ago. However, there are people who believe that the treatment, the legal status of the treatment is not as important as saving lives, and they're the people that we know and that we're connected into. Anybody that would like more information on the Iboga, please private message me. You can find me, Paul Tracy, on Facebook. Please private message me for that sort of stuff, and I'll get back to you with some sort of a link. I just want to thank you, Paul. I want to thank you, Sharon. It's a great story of hope and recovery, and yeah, long may it last, and may you build on that, and may that peace that you have found at home, may that grow deeper, and spread out. It'll have a great knock-on effect with all the other problems we have in life when we make things right at home. So thank you so much from the Cold Turkey crew and everybody. Thank you guys.